All right, welcome back to the Play On podcast. This is episode 94 with Jesse and Jerry. So much to talk about, Jesse. There have been so many sacks, pause, given out. Most notably is what's his name? Oh my God, what's the Chelsea coach's name? I keep forgetting Maresca
Maresca.
and Ruben Amorim. I think the Ruben Amorim sacking got influenced by the Chelsea sacking.
I think it got influenced because of his rant.
Yeah, he had an interesting press conference after the game, right?
Yeah, after the Leeds game, he basically just blew up. He was tired of, Gary Neville, of those Man U boys always just talking bad about him, and he said, I'm the manager. I'm not a coach. I'm a manager. I manage these people. I manage the team. There's so much more going on than just what's you see, and yeah, I guess Man U couldn't hit, didn't want the backlash from the fans because the fans and like former players were constantly complaining about Almiron, and he was tired of it, and I guess they didn't want the press from it because they care more about money than anything else, and so they decided to sack him, and they didn't have because it was so quick because they don't have any replacement. Darren Fletcher is currently the interim coach for them, but they have no options.
Yeah, they don't have any options. Now, this is another coach that they have to pay on top of that because you got to pay out the remaining contract for him, which is weird because like they didn't fire him when he had probably the worst season of Manchester United's what is it, longevity last season. But when he's doing pretty well and being top six or top seven, you fire him just because of like again, it's pressure from media, ex former players, but I'm surprised they're so critical of him, but at the same time. It's like you gotta let him work. You're just going back to the same cycle again. Now who's gonna be the next coach?
Yeah, it makes no sense, especially because he hasn't had his team yet.
No, he hasn't. So um Manu's not back. They're gonna have to go again through a whole another rebuild because whoever's the coach for the season is gonna struggle. And yeah, I don't know, Jesse. It's tiring at this point. We've seen this story happen before.
Yeah, it's funny because it's funny how quickly they'll rally for a coach that they do like and they'll give up excuses for them. But
Hmm.
for other coaches who are in worst case scenarios or in scenarios that are much worse than that, they'll give no benefit of the doubt or they'll give them no time for processing. Because like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he was a former player, so the players, former players as pundits would love him and give any excuse for him, even though he would, didn't deliver what you're supposed to as a Man U coach. But for like Amarin, they gave him no leeway, even since last year. But Ten Hag, how many excuses they give him? They gave him 2.5 years, and this guy they've given him what, 18 months, maybe, or a year?
Yeah, it's just it's such a weird spot, dude. Again, he clearly improved from last season to this season. You're competing and you fire. I don't know. It's I guess again. I think did the sale of Manchester United ever go through?
Oh yeah, but it's like a slow thing. Like they're currently in charge. Like Ineos is in charge. Sir James Ratcliffe is currently in charge of him because he's him and the board that are like the ones that have been like coming out and giving like the media conferences, the press conferences. Like he came out and said, "Oh yeah, we had to lay off like 40% of the staff or something like that to be able to make ends meet before the club had to declare bankruptcy or whatever." Because that balances the books, but yet, oh, we're over here spending 50 million on this one player. Like it's just a whole mess of the club that it is right now, and yet they think it all falls on this one coach.
Yeah, and speaking of reckless spending, I literally just saw an article that there's interest of bringing Marcus Rashford back from loan from Barcelona. And again, that's just more money. As a Barca fan, I would appreciate it, but it would kind of suck because Rashford's been playing pretty good. But again, that doesn't solve your issues. Um, I know Kobe Mino is probably ecstatic that
Yeah,
is probably going to get play time. Because of course it's Darren Fletcher, former Man U player. More than likely, he's going to play the academy kids. and see how they do. But I don't know. I have no faith in Man U at this point again. When you're just starting to slowly get glimpses, because like what was it last month when they had the 4 game winning streak? No one was complaining. They're hitting a bump in the road. Again, a major player is a lot of games, a lot of time on the pitch is probably causing this like trend in form, whatever.
Yeah, it's so idiotic because the board literally fell into the peer pressure of the media and the fans.
They
Because
can't lose value, Jesse. You got to think of the stockholders.
yeah, because sure, like like I know Man U fans are happy because Kobe Maino's gonna come into the fold, but before Amarin, think about Harry Maguire. He was down in dumps. Like both Ten Hag and the fans were completely against him. And with Amarin, he's had a mini resurgence because he's been starting for them and it's like has been playing well, and now they appreciate him. But a new coach might just throw him under the bus all over again. Mason Mount has been playing recently more and has been getting in the form that we used to see with him at Chelsea. Like some of these players were bought to fit into the system, or like are fitted into the system, might get lost again.
Yeah, again, it's gonna be a mixing pot of what we criticize of Manchester United being with like Ruben Amorim when he first got in. Um, he bought a certain amount of players. Now this new coach is gonna be stuck with like these players, and he's gonna have to like filter them out because Ugarte has to leave. Who knows what happens with Cunha, Shesko, and all of them?
Yeah, because think about it. He bought basically the three forwards line. He bought Šeško as striker. He bought Mbeumo at right wing, and then Cunha. He could play left, but he could play 10. What about Diallo, who he was starting as a wing back? Because to make space for him because he's been very productive as a player.
Hmm.
Whereas he can play, is he just gonna be relegated to the bench, or you can bench Embuemo, who is your big money signing. Cunha is he can play on the left wing, who he doesn't really play because he's usually plays as like behind the striker or even as a striker sometimes. Bruno Fernandes, how you can fit that in? Mason Mount, are you starting Casemiro? You're bringing back Kobe Mino because you're basically forced to play him at this point because that's what the fans want. Where is he going to play? How does he fit into the squad? Like these are questions that people don't understand that think will just be automatically fixed because you just bring in any coach. Like the squad is a mess.
Yeah, it's definitely a mess. And then they kept Bruno Fernandes, who was on the brink of leaving. I think Ruben Amorim kind of convinced him to stay. Now, where is his head at now going into the winter transfer? Is he potentially leaving now or maybe in the summer? But I definitely think he doesn't stick around anymore because he's got to be over it at this point.
Yeah, and he's also not getting any younger. He's like what, 30 now? Like
And he
he
hasn't really been competing for titles.
yeah, you to be remembered, you need something with you need trophies and he hasn't gotten that. He's got what, an FA Cup?
And FA Cup, the Europa Cup, the Europa League. Did he win the Europa League? No, right? That was
They,
Pogba
they
and Zlatan.
yeah, they lost against Spurs, remember?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's heartbreaking for like players that are like trying to compete, that gave it their all for their club and try to stick it out, and try to move forward with it. But it's not happening. It's deeper than just the manager at this point. There's outside influence from the club.
Yeah. And speaking of outside influence, Chelsea's is a similar situation. Because how are you firing Maresca?
Yeah, dude, when you texted me that and I saw the firing, I think, and I texted you this, I think Chelsea is done as a club
Yeah.
because Maresca somehow found a way to, rotate players, even though the squad is like so huge, and keep
Hmm.
people happy and play at a pretty decent level. Not even a decent level. Like they beat the PSG, the Champions League winners. Like he had them playing great, and now you sack him, and the next manager has to try to like up that.
Yeah, first of all, I think we both owe an apology to Maresca because when he was first signed, we both thought he was a puppet of the board. But obviously, that was far from the truth because the sack wouldn't happen if he was. He went against them and was actually producing really good results.
So
It
what exactly
makes
happened, Jesse?
so this is what's been going through the network that apparently the club had asked the medical team to tell Maresca to at certain times to sub certain players off, especially like as an example, Cole Palmer, to sub
Mhm.
him off, not give him a certain amount of game time because they didn't want to risk him getting injured again because it would lower his value in case they needed to sell him for valuations or for business reasons. So they're basically trying to control his substitutions, his rotation, his starting lineups, to maintain the squad at its highest value so it could, sell, buy more players or sell and make profit. And he
That
was and he wasn't listening to him going against it. And he's like, yeah, I'm not telling out Cole Palmer. He's playing the whole game, and we're gonna keep it that way.
this is what happens when corporations take over football clubs. They want to hold everything. That all they're thinking about is money. Especially with the Premier League, you don't have to win titles to make a lot of money. So again, it's an example of what happens. So we just had our recording corrupted. Only recorded 10 minutes out of our 40-minute conversation. It leaves off on us talking about how you don't make, well, you just saw. Um,
We were talking
so
about you don't need to win titles in the Premier League to make money.
so Chelsea's new manager is going to be the Strasbourg manager from
Sure.
League One.
Yeah, because it's under the same umbrella of Blue Company or Blue Corporation or whatever. It's similar like the City Group where they have, Girona and like all these other groups. Strasbourg is under that, and they decided to keep it in-house instead of, finding the best coach. They decided to just get the one that they know will follow the rules because there's no reason to hire him because it's not like he's a promising coach. Because we mentioned that he is seventh in the Strasbourg is seventh in the league on, and you mentioned what was his winning percentages? It was pretty low.
It was 41 this season, 47 last season. So he's averaging 1.4 points per game.
Yeah, not very promising, especially for like a coach coming from Ligue 1. You would expect first to catch the eye of a big club like, Chelsea, something better, but they're getting the coach from the seventh place team in Ligue 1 to coach Chelsea, which is, the biggest club in London.
Because they still
Uh,
have Champions League. They're, I think, still at the moment top. No, I think they're one above Barcelona. So they're in the qualifying for the next round, but potentially playoff. So they have a lot
mhm.
to play for. And we talked about and went on rants on how is the new coach gonna manage that locker room that's so big and so
Yeah,
young.
yeah, because it's the youngest, like one of the youngest squads in Europe. That's why there's so much inconsistency in the team. And they need a leader there. But he is also a young coach, but he doesn't have a lot of experience with like these situations. So how is he exactly going to handle this group that, is going to be looking for someone to help lead them and guide them through this? And I don't know if he has a chops for it because he hasn't shown anything that as an example that we could use to be like, oh yeah, he can handle this. And especially there's no veteran presence in that team that can help,
Mm-mm.
you know, that he can
Raheem
help
Sterling, Jesse.
get lean on. And that example, like he was in the Exodus squad that basically Maresca had kicked out because, they weren't gonna be useful to his team. They were basically just collecting checks. And him and Alex Asasi were basically kicked out. They weren't they were basically just there on the payroll. But I guess with, Chelsea being run like a business, the owners aren't gonna be happy with just paying that guy to do nothing. So they're probably gonna have this guy come in and force him into play because Raheem Sterling is one of the highest, if not the highest earner in that club. And they're just not going to want that, wasting away somewhere that's not on the pitch.
Yeah. So there is a lot at play. Potentially players getting sold too, especially depending on where Maresca ends up. He was being lined up for the Man City job if Pep Guardiola leaves. Now, if Pep does leave, he more than likely is gonna have that City job, especially all like the work he's done with Chelsea. Um, he won the Club World Cup against top PSG
PSG.
team, who we thought was the best club in the world. No one can beat them, but literally a couple weeks after Chelsea beats them in the final.
Hmm.
So Maresca is just gonna have the perfect job at Man City, and then but even potentially we mentioned how they could even poach players from that squad as well.
Yeah. Because like we said, previously. Oh God. Uh,
Enough of Chelsea. They keep the Blue Corp keeps sending their malware to my computer and causing my Zoom to crash. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Potentially players leaving Chelsea going to Man City if Maresca does join, which more than likely he will if Pep leaves. But in other better news, Brendan Johnson has joined Crystal Palace. Jesse, what did we say that he's just gonna go forward with his career? because
Yeah,
it's a good move for him.
yeah, it's a good move for him because it's show Crystal Palace has shown that they can develop players and bring out the best of them. Like examples as Michel Luise, Eberechi uh, Warden, and then also Guehi. Like these four players are moving up, have been linked or have made the move to bigger clubs and have produced good results at them. Michel Luise has looked great, one of the world's best currently. Eberechi has good moments. So Arsenal, Warden is expected to make a big move to Man City, Man U, Real Madrid. He's been linked for 100 million. Guehi has everyone that begging him to sign for them. So him going there is a really good move for him personally, and a risky move that some players wouldn't make because they would just rather consider take the safe check. But he's so young off. He's 24. He made great improvements last year, and he didn't see the same thing this year. So he's like, I'm gonna go to Crystal Palace and get my game time and make a big move maybe down the line.
Yeah, right now Tottenham seems to be in a weird spot. A lot of players aren't being happy. Johnson was one of them. Now Matthias Tell is gonna be another one. And you also said that Tottenham actually lost money in the move. They
Yeah,
lost like
because
10 million.
yeah, they sold him to for 35 million to Crystal Palace, but they bought him from Nottingham Forest for 45 million. So it's not, it doesn't make sense really for them to do this move at all.
Yeah, and I mentioned how it's like I don't know how that business is even done because he is a player that clearly improves, started scoring more goals, and you've sold him for less money. I don't know how it works. Bad business, but yeah, Matthias Tell upset. They're looking for loan options to potentially ship him out. So it's another huge signing that's not going to work out for them, you know?
Yeah, and it just shows that the Spurs board made the incorrect move by firing Ange, who we were, big supporters of, because it Thomas Frank has not worked out at all. They have regressed. They look worse than last year. Sure, last year they were conceding, but offensively they were getting goals and they were creating chances, but now they're not doing either. And they have big names on both sides and have spent a lot of money on both sides. So like it's obviously come down to the coach. And with the players wanting to leave, it shows that he wasn't the right player to lead these players.
Yeah, definitely. Now, more transfer news. We'll stay in the actually before we go into the transfer news. What's his name? Guardiol is injured. He has
Oh yeah.
a
Leg fracture,
leg
tibia.
fracture tibia. He's out for 3 months. You just mentioned how Ake was potentially going to move, but now he's going to stay because of the injury. And same
Yeah.
thing, Kuzanov, who were pretty. We thought he's a good center back. He's getting more playing time now. So
Yep.
blessing in disguise for him. But yeah, it sucks to see.
Yeah. And Guehi's linked to them now as well. He's linked to everyone, but yeah, I guess Man City wants to get a center back covered just in case any other injury happens. But you brought up Nathan Ake because I said he was linked to Barcelona, but Barcelona instead went and got your boy Joao Cancelo.
Yeah, they got Joao Cancelo to potentially move Jules Koundé back to center back. Joao Cancelo just offers more going forward and maybe helps Lamine getting off of like a triple team because that's what all the teams have been doing against him. Um, so yeah, it's a good move. It's a loan move. We'll see how he does because yeah, last time he has had pretty bad performances in like big games. So again, I think
Yeah.
it might be more of a rotational thing because I think Hansi Flick is too in love with Koundé on the right as a right back. There are rumors of Vlahovic potentially joining Barcelona, high wages. But I don't know if it's the right fit. And the same thing with Schlotterbeck. He is rumored as well, but again, where are we gonna get the money? Who knows, dude?
Yeah, but the a potential way of getting that money was Fermin Lopez was being linked to Sunderland of all teams because they're willing to offer like 70 million for him. Shows you the Super League is the Premier League and they just have money to burn because they're Sunderland's being
Sunderland.
able, yeah, is able to offer this type of money.
And I mentioned how I don't think Barca would take that move on. I think more than likely they'll sell Dani Olmo just because Dani Olmo he's older, and then Fermin Lopez he again just had a great game this past weekend. Came in as a sub, got 2 assists, so he is definitely a game changer. And it's pretty crazy too because he was having a bad couple games, and now with this, it's just gonna give him more confidence, and you can't bench him anymore.
Yeah. Then we also mentioned your dream of Bastoni is getting crushed with the theory of being able to swap him for Araujo and some money. It's looking like you'll have to offer someone money to take Araujo off of you guys with the way his transfer value has completely plummeted.
No, I'm pretty sure there's people still in the market, but at one point he was 70 million, especially like how he recovered his form because it did dip last time as well, but now it dipped back to that spot again. So
Yeah.
it sucks. We'll see who touches them. Hopefully, like a Premier League team, Sunderland, maybe. No, but I think there's definitely a market for him. Liverpool will probably want him. I know one of the Italian clubs will want him, but I think you'll probably get more money off of Premier League teams, way more. But yeah, that dream is being crushed right now at the moment, Jesse. But it's
Yep.
okay. Apparently Schlotterbeck wants to come to Barcelona. But again, we'll see how we could afford it.
Yeah, because if I'm not wrong, I think he's not a free transfer. I think he's next year he's a free like but not this summer. So you would have to give a transfer fee this summer, which would be like 50 million for him
I
or
think it'll be
40
like
million.
30, 40.
But still, and his wages.
Yeah, free. He'll play for the club for free.
Yeah, Jerry, I don't think that they're gonna do that.
Spotify subscriptions for life.
Yeah, I don't think that runs it.
But we did talk about before the whole file got corrupted, um, how Mbappe is out for a couple of weeks, but his replacement, Gonzalo Garcia, scored an amazing hat trick.
Yeah, perfect hat trick. Header, right foot, left foot.
So yeah, they're not missing Endrick at the moment, and I made the bold prediction of Endrick eventually joining Barcelona later on. We had a whole discussion about that, but yeah, it's a good side for Gonzalo Garcia. He definitely waited, remained patient, unlike Endrick, and got his moment and took it in full stride against a good Betis team as well. So it's not like just any random club that came from the second division.
Yeah, and what I liked was the confidence he had because he was willing to go for the shots that because the second goal was a volley that you need confidence and technique in, and he had both and was able to deliver.
Yeah, the back heel was my favorite personally. Um, it's just like a striker mentality, like, oh, I gotta shoot this with my if I shoot it with my right foot, it's gonna go out, but if I do it with the heel, with my left, it's gonna go in. So
Yeah.
it's just
Oh,
instinct.
and that was Goulart's first assist to someone that wasn't Mbappe.
There you go. So he can play with people other than Mbappe, which is pretty surprising. But no, it's cool to see Guler doing that because you could clearly see he is more than likely Mesut Ozil's successor because he plays a lot like him.
Yeah. And yeah, it was a great game. Rodrigo continued his form. He got 2 assists that game. Valverde got 2 assists from right back. It was a really good performance overall from the team. You know, there was that one goal conceded, but overall it's been better than what they've showed where they barely scraping by. The team looked better overall. I feel like it flowed better because there was a natural forward occupying the center backs with Gonzalo Garcia. Rodrigo was floating well in between the lines and providing, creativity for the team. Drew was providing like a two-way role. It was a double pivot this time from Xabi Alonso with Camavinga and Tchouaméni both there holding the line, and they were doing pretty well. Vinny was good at the beginning and then just faded away in the game and was booed by the fans
All
when
those
he was
whistles
sub.
are getting to him, dude.
And then yeah, but it was a good game. First time in a while. Every goal scored was from a player from La Fabrica, so it was a good showing for the youth team. Good advertisement.
Definitely. Hey, but Barca thankfully remained in first place too. They had a tough game playing Espanyol at Espanyol. Joan Garcia, this is why you invest in a really good keeper.
Yeah,
He
he
put on a
saved you man of
crazy
the match.
performance. Yeah, he got man of the match because he kept making save after save after save. Because the defense was playing pretty bad. I'll admit it. Gerard Martin was having a horrendous match,
Yeah, it was
but
bad.
yeah, it happens. But other than that, we had Juan Garcia like covering us, and thankfully he did. And it's funny too because I was kind of like being complacent with the tie after like the 75th minute. I was like, all right, I'll take a tie at this point. Yeah, it's difficult. We can't get our attack going. Juan Garcia's making all these saves. A point here wouldn't be the end of the world. Put on my Barca jersey, went to go get pizza, and they scored 2 goals while I was on my way to get pizza. I was like, okay, it's just me, dude. I had to put on the Barca jersey. So
You just had to leave, Jerry.
yeah, I had to leave. But no, I was watching it still on my phone. Like on my way down to the elevator, I had it on my phone and Dani almost scored that goal. But yeah, the substitutions were key because Ferran Torres was having a horrendous match. Marcus Rashford was having another bad match too because I think half his touches were like uh he was losing possession. So Fermin Lopez came in and Dani almost came in and they completely changed the game,
Hmm.
especially Fermin Lopez. He contributed 2 assists, a banger. I think both goals were bangers, but yeah, the first one to open it up, he like completely did an insane turn if you haven't seen the goal to like get a bunch of space and then just lay it off to Dani Olmo, who puts it in the top right corner. And then the Lewandowski one too, like the same thing, another turn, and he's just getting through, pushing, 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 finds Lewandowski, and Lewandowski chips the ball over the keeper with the keeper and the defender because the defender thought he was just going to shoot it first time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a the hard game because yeah, Espanyol was playing pretty well and they're playing pretty good this season, especially coming back from second division to first.
Yeah, it was a tough one. It was I was really happy during the match in the beginning because I'm like, oh, Espanyol might pull this off because Barca was not up to the level for it. They were just barely managed. But if Joan Garcia was there, not there, I think you guys could have easily been down like 2 or 3-0 going into the second
Yeah,
half.
if their statue was goalkeeper, we would have been chalked.
Yeah. Luckily for you guys, he was there, but it was not a great hay watch. But you know what was a good hay watch? Atletico Madrid.
I
Because
haven't even seen their scoreline.
I believe they drew again. 1-1 with Sociedad.
It's
If I'm,
happening, Jesse. I'm telling you, they start cold, they get hot, now they're getting cold again. Damn, so
yeah.
they're dropping points. That means Villarreal's potentially in the top three.
Well, they've been in the top three. They've just been falling further and further behind us. Because Espanyol is in fifth.
Because if they definitely do lose out of the Champions League spots, then they're gonna be forced to sell players, and that's when like maybe Julian Alvarez can come to Barca again. Shooting for the stars, Jesse. Don't shoot me down. But no, and if it's not even Barca, but like they were more than likely sales are gonna happen. But
Well, who knows? Because remember, they did get the new investors.
they did, but again, it's like a player like Julian Alvarez is gonna waste like a year in the Europa League when he's already unhappy with Atletico Madrid.
Who knows, man? Sometimes they could just lock him into those contracts and keep him there even if they don't want to. But
Shout
this
out,
is good.
silly.
Yeah, but this is good news for Real Madrid because we are playing them midweek in the Supercopa de España with them in horrendous form. But you know, it'll be just like them to get kick it back up just against us.
Yeah, hopefully they turn it up, dude. If anything, could take you guys to extra time because I think the Super Cup still has extra time, which is stupid. But hopefully, you never know because they did beat them last time too. When again they were in bad form, and that's where like their form started.
Yeah.
But yeah, Barca faces Athletic Bilbao Wednesday of all
Wednesday,
days, dude. That's
and we
literally when
gotta
I have my
travel.
evenings.
Don't forget, we have to travel to Saudi.
Yeah, but thankfully it's not a crazy flight. Maybe well, I think it's equal for all.
I think it's like
You're gonna have
five,
to pull up the
six.
games just because I am too scared to touch my laptop at the moment.
Yeah, Wednesday, Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. Looks like a good game.
Hmm.
We were previously mentioning them. We have Man City, Brighton might be decent. Newcastle, Leeds, and
That's not a good
then
game. I got
eh,
Leeds in that game, by the way.
same. But yeah, Wednesday, Barca, Athletic Club. Give me Athletic Club.
Give me Barca, dude, all day.
And then Thursday, of all days, this could be a crazy day for football. You have Arsenal versus Liverpool. Liverpool, come on, you gotta show up one day, you know.
I think it's gonna be a tie. I think I'm gonna take a double chance, Jesse. I think it's a tie or Arsenal wins because what happened to Liverpool this past weekend is so bad.
Yeah. Then we have Atletico Madrid versus Real Madrid. You know who I'm going for.
I got Real Madrid. Hopefully, it's a jinx.
Yeah, hopefully not. And then we have the Super Cup final from the French side, PSG versus Marseille, which should be a great match to watch as well.
And give me Marseille. PSG has not been the same. They are in a weird spot. Again, this team is young, so them winning the Champions League last year was pretty huge.
Yeah, I'll give it to PSG just 'cause they still have the better players, the better midfield, I'll say.
Okay.
And then Friday, Frankfurt Dortmund.
Dortmund, I don't know how they keep staying on like in weird. They've been quiet, but I got Dortmund.
I'll go Frankfurt. Saturday, nothing great. We're not in La Liga, so it's nothing big. Serie A, nothing. Sunday, we have the final, which by your predictions would be El Clasico, and by mine it'd be Athletic versus Real Madrid.
Hopefully your prediction doesn't come true, and I got Barcelona winning it.
Yeah, give me that win.
It's gonna be Barca's first trophy of the season. We gotta get back from the first Clásico, so yeah, there's definitely gonna be bad blood if they do play that out.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't mind another El Clasico, enjoyment. I just think they lose. Athletic, they get their get back from earlier where they got crushed by Barca and Nico Williams goes crazy. But besides that, there's also Inter versus Napoli, which is a big because Napoli has fallen off and Inter is in first place, so they would need this to, not fall further behind because they are 2 points behind.
Mhm. So
So
close Serie A season, but
yeah, big
again,
match.
these teams keep facing each other, Jesse. I can't stop mentioning it that.
So who do you have?
I'll take Inter Milan. I think Napoli has too many injuries and inconsistent. And I think Inter Milan's at home too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, give me Inter Milan.
I'll go Napoli just to keep this race interesting because it is probably one of the more interesting races left besides, La Liga.
Yeah, definitely. Don't blame me,
Uh,
dude.
Yeah, and besides that, there's nothing else.
I did want to talk about something real quick. What's his name? Is it the new Bayern super talent, Carl something?
Oh, Leonard Carl, yeah, he said he wanted to play for Madrid.
That's an insane statement to say when you're starting at Bayern Munich at the moment, and you already mentioned that, oh, I want to play for the other team, a rival.
Hey, listen, man, he knows ball. He knows ball. What can I say?
He does, but like it kind of puts your more than likely he didn't get media training, but it puts his thing into perspective. Like, does Bayern want to give you like Bayern Munich at this point has all the leverage, you know?
Yeah,
Knowing that you're gonna potentially leave, I'm not gonna offer you a huge contract. So
but they'll lose a big talent
they'll
because,
lose a
like,
big
as
talent.
because every other German player I've seen has said that he is the biggest German talent currently.
So who knows what Bayern does? They're probably gonna have to put everything in their power and convince him not to leave. But yeah, more than likely he's gonna want to leave eventually. And again, not a good move to say that when you're just getting your career started.
Hey, hey, listen, man. Whenever you're ready, we'll take you in open arms. We already have the picture of him in the Madrid kit ready because he had a trial with us.
Do you guys don't have an eye for talent because you guys didn't keep him?
Apparently it wasn't even like a real trial. It was just to do an advertisement, so there weren't
Mhm.
real scouts there.
Oh my God. But I don't know. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that real quick, but I think that's all I got. Sorry, I'm like drained at this point because so many things were going on with this damn
Recording.
recording.
We've had to do it like three times now.
So, and we recorded like a 40-minute episode, like first
We
part,
literally, yeah, the full episode basically.
and only 10 minutes got recorded.
Yeah, so we went in a couple more details and things like that, but it's hard to remember that when that was like two recordings ago.
Yeah. And trying to maintain composure, crashing out. Yeah. But Other than that, thank you guys for watching. The Bears are in playoffs. It's good to be a Chicago fan.
We're about to beat the Packers again. We're gonna smoke them. We're at home. They don't know what's coming to them.
They don't. So they play Saturday, right?
Yeah,
Saturday night.
Saturday,
So
7 p.m.
I'm keeping my schedule clear that day. So I'll probably either be depressed Monday or happy.
If we're depressed, guys, just know what happened. Well, also,
We won't even
he
bring it
might
up.
he might even be more depressed because Real Madrid's gonna win the Super Cup and the Bears lost. He might crash out. There might
Uh,
not be an episode Monday, guys.
right. Right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.
Peace.